There we go. There we go. All right. All right. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this pain-free and financially free webinar featuring MyNyloxin. That is the marketing company that promotes a phenomenal product called Nyloxin. Some of you perhaps have heard of it, and we're going to do a poll here at the onset, very early on, just so I can gauge who my audience happens to be, excuse me, for this particular webinar. This is the first live webinar that we're doing to share and to do a little training on this particular company with this particular product. I first want to start off by just kind of sharing with you, if you haven't been following us intimately or closely, or maybe you're new to our following, who we are. My name's T. Mont Silver Sr. Everyone calls me T. Lamont. My brand is Pro Marketing Mastermind, and what Pro Marketing Mastermind is, we'll talk about in just a moment. I'll tell you what, I've got this slide out of order, so I'm going to come back to this. Pro Marketing Mastermind is essentially a collection of home business entrepreneurs. You'll see this showing up in a moment. Home business entrepreneurs that are committed to assisting marketers in generating multiple streams of income, even if you don't have a list. Now, most of us have probably heard that the money is in the list. And if you really want to scale your business, and we want to help you scale your business, then yes, ultimately you want to build a list of a very large email list, even a text list of subscribers. You want to build a bond with that list, and then you ultimately want to monetize that list. And that's something that we've been teaching our audience for quite some time now. However, we have now uncovered a couple of different income models that allow you to start generating revenue even if you don't have the list yet. Now, the game plan is to help you build your list, all right, and build a very large following. That's the game plan. But even if you don't have a list yet, tonight you're going to see a way that you can start generating revenue even without a list. Now, we will have an optional Q&A at the end of my sharing. And there's a couple of ways that you can ask questions and then get those questions answered. The best way is for you to jot down my Facebook fan page, facebook.com/my brand, Pro Marketing Mastermind. And you can just send a personal message there, okay? The advantage of going that route is that if we end the webinar, we have an optional Q&A, but there's more questions than we have time, then I can actually go over the next couple of days and address you specifically, or address your questions specifically, okay? Now, the second route is that you can enter your questions in the questions box on the right-hand side of the webinar panel. The disadvantage of that is that if we get a lot of questions and then we kind of get, past time, and there's still some unanswered questions, I won't see those questions after the webinar is over. So your best option is to jot down facebook.com/Pro Marketing Mastermind. If you haven't liked the page, go on and like it. Don't go there yet. Jot down your questions as we go through tonight's webinar, and then at the end, when we have our optional Q&A, then go there and ask me your questions, okay? Let's talk a little bit about Pro Marketing Mastermind, and so that you really appreciate what we're going to share with MyNyloxin this evening, because there's 4 pillars that make up Pro Marketing Mastermind. And those of you that have followed us very intimately may remember about a year or so ago, we were launching a portal called Networkers for Wealth. Well, Pro Marketing Mastermind is going to be the finished version of that. We never really finished that the way that we intended. And so there are 4 pillars. Pillar 1 is called cash flow. And we did a live webinar on cash flow last week. We got stellar comments, and thank those of you that were on that webinar and provided that input. I really appreciate that. No business, MyNyloxin, an Amazon business, an eBay business, any other marketing business, no business will stand the test of time without cash flow. And so we want people to learn how to uncover cash flow and then even have a revenue source or sources that allow them to make money even if they don't have a list, okay? The second part or second pillar is continuity income. Some refer to it as residual, others refer to it as repetitive income. We'll refer to it as continuity income. Now tonight, we're going to focus on MyNyloxin, which could very well become a powerhouse continuity income generator for you and for me. We won't get so much into scaling tonight, but our whole approach is this. Through cash flow, through continuity income, you'll be introduced to at least 2 models that you can make money even if you don't have a list. Now, why is that important? Because what the gurus don't tell you about building your list is that it takes money. If you're going to do it right, if you're going to really scale it up, if you're going to build a very large list in a short period of time, it's going to take money in paid marketing. So if we get you making money with MyNyloxin as one income stream, even if you don't have a list, then that will allow you to start to scale up your business so that ultimately you get a list and you can even scale up your business. And then ultimately, Andy, asset accumulation. This is something we have been testing for about a year. Some asset accumulation strategies where you start making money, but then we want that money making money. And so the whole goal of Pro Marketing Mastermind is to position those that follow us intimately to generate no less than four separate and distinct income streams, that any one of those income streams can take care of your family's monthly expenses. So each one of these pillars will have an associated income stream, optional income stream, and the hope is that that income stream in time becomes a full-time income stream for you. Okay, now it's with that we're introducing this to our audience. Some of you follow us in other ventures that we are part of. We will continue fervently to promote and build those other ventures while embracing the 4 pillars of Pro Marketing Mastermind. So tonight's webinar objective is this. It's to introduce this life-changing product. Okay, give me a moment. I see the green. I'm sorry, I was looking at somebody's comment there. Okay, I think we're okay. All right, it is to introduce this life-changing product called Nyloxin. Nyloxin is the product. MyNyloxin is the marketing company. Then we're going to talk about a very unique marketing approach. It is a brilliant marketing approach. And then bottom line, a compelling compensation model. What could this mean for your bottom line? What could the product mean? What could this unique marketing approach mean for your bottom line? And then the ability, again, for you and I to generate continuity income, repetitive income, residual income, even if you don't have a list. Now, keep this in mind. I'm not saying, hey, you do nothing and you're lazy. What I'm saying is, let's generate some continuity income, even if we don't have a list right now, so that ultimately we can build a list and bond with that list and monetize that list, maybe even with this opportunity or some other income streams that you may have. Now that you know what the objective is, and we're going to get into the training in just a few moments, what I'd like to do is I'd like to do a series of very quick polls so that I can better understand who my audience is. I see a lot of names, but I want to better understand who my audience is. So just bear with me, please. I'm going to bring up my polls here, and I'm going to ask you to vote, everyone vote, so that you can be heard. This first poll is going to ask, is this the first time that you've ever attended a webinar where I've been your host? And just hit the radio button. Is either yes, just click that button, or no. Let's get everyone voting. Let's get everyone voting. Is this the first time that you've ever been on the webinar with me as your host? Now, I'm assuming that a number of you have been on a webinar with me before because of who we sent our emails out to. But we are building very aggressively a list. and we've got a lot of new list subscribers, okay? All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to close. Wow, a good amount of you are here for the first time. So welcome to our webinars. All right, let's go with this next one, okay? Now, this one is going to ask if you have a current email list, and if so, roughly how many subscribers you have in the list. All right, so if you have an email list, you know, how many subscribers do you have? You've got the ranges. And if you have no one in an email list, let me know that as well, because this is going to be very, very important. I'm going to want to jot this one down, so bear with me. I'm going to show these numbers in just a moment, and I will tell you that these numbers I'm about to show are indicative of what we normally see when we have a live webinar and we ask this question, okay? Let's get everybody voting. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And this one I'm going to show. This is going to be very important for tonight's webinar, okay? I want you to pay attention here that 53% of you say, I have no list. And what most, I have no list, give me a moment. 53% no list, 37% have less than 500 in your list. Okay, so right now, what that tells me, 90% of you, the 53 and the 37, 90% of you have less than 500 folks in your list. See, what the gurus will tell you is that you will tend to average $1 per month per subscriber in your list. You'll tend to average in this whole internet marketing universe $1 per month per subscriber in your list. Well, if 90% of you tell me I don't have 500 people in my list, that probably means that 90% of you are not making a lot of money, unless maybe you've started to implement some other strategies that we've taught or been sharing with our audience about how to make money without a list, maybe like an e-commerce business with Amazon or eBay or what have you, okay? So I want those numbers to stick there, and I want you to understand that this is representative of what I tend to see when I ask that question on webinars, meaning there's a lot of other marketers out there that also don't have a list, which probably also means they're not making as much money as they would like. Okay, just a few more here. This is going to relate to the product. The question is, I know someone that lives with chronic pain, even if that someone is you. I know someone that lives with chronic pain, arthritis, pain from diabetic neuropathy, migraines, headaches, so on and so forth. I know someone. It could be my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, might be my wife, might be my husband, what have you, okay? All right, most of you, a large percentage of you, like 88% of you are saying, yeah, I know someone dealing with chronic pain. All right, and we're just about finished. Got a couple more. This one says, I live with chronic pain. Now, the beautiful thing is I don't know who's saying what, okay? So you're either saying yes or no. I don't know if you're saying yes, who that is that's saying yes. I live with chronic pain, okay? All right, fantastic. Not fantastic if you said yes, but thank you for a large percentage of you voting. I appreciate that, okay? All right, so about 39% of you now are saying, yep, I want to show that one real quickly. So about 60% of you voted on this one. We're going to get started in just a moment with the training. 38% of you said, I'm living with chronic pain. Okay, so prayerfully you will find a solution, a miracle in terms of this product. Prayerfully that would be the case. All right? All right, 2 more. I started last week sending out a series of emails over the weekend. If you had heard of MyNyloxin before I started sending out those emails, put a yes. If you had not heard of MyNyloxin or had not paid any attention to it, maybe you saw it but didn't pay any attention, then put no. I'm curious to know how many of you were already aware of MyNyloxin. Okay? Wow. Wow, that's curious. Most of you have not even heard of it. Okay. Okay. I'm going to close that one out. I'm going to show this one for you marketers out there. You might get excited about this. Still a lot of tremendous opportunity, okay? And then one last question. Thank you for your patience, and we'll get into the training. All right, one last question. This one says, I am already affiliated with MyNyloxin. I'm already a member of MyNyloxin. If that's you, put a yes. If that's not, put a no. Okay, we got a few of you. All right. I'm already a member of MyNyloxin. I'm already a member. We'll give it 3 seconds, and 3, and 2, and 1. We're going to close that out. All right, so of those that are on the webinar, 87% of you are not already members. 13% are members. There are a couple of you that came to me and told me to take a look, and I said, gosh, I wish you'd have told me that before. I've been taking a look at it for about a month. So one thing I want you to keep in mind in anything that you're doing, you know, don't be afraid to share the message, even with folks that have been very successful in this industry. Okay, don't be afraid to share whatever it is that you're doing, because you never know. You just never know. So someone, because he shared it with me, he was the first to share it with me, got me in touch with someone that could answer some of my deeper questions. Then when I registered with him because that was the right thing to do. Okay, all right, so now let's go to work here. And let's make sure, bear with me. Okay, all right, so let's go to work. Here we go. All right, now let me give you this quick disclaimer, and then we get into the training. Now, our showcase this evening, again, is MyNyloxin. Most of you said I hadn't heard of it, and then the overwhelming majority of you are not already associated with it. MyNyloxin is a direct selling company with a multi-tiered compensation structure. And for those of you that have followed us for any length of time, you know that we are sticklers about genealogical integrity. What we did is we sent an invitation to tonight's webinar to our mass email list, all right? A large part of our list over the past few months are folks that had never followed us before. We've been very aggressively building our email list, but we've got segments of our email list that are people that have followed us for years in the home business industry, in the network marketing MLM space. And a lot of those people in certain segments aren't in my list because of me. They're in my list because of someone that followed me. So for instance, Queen Twitter, who couldn't be here tonight, some of you follow her. Some of you follow Andy Hoover. Some of you follow Foy Underwood, so on and so forth. As a result, I am not going to be giving out a personal referral link tonight. If the training is compelling enough for you to want to become an affiliate with the company, what I ask you to do is to connect with the person that you normally follow. If there is such a person that you normally follow into an enterprise because you know you've done business with this person for months or years or what have you, and find out whether or not they are already promoting MyNyloxin. I think 14% of you said you were already members. So it's never my intent with our email list to take a recruit from someone else, and that's what I just want to make sure is very, very clear on tonight. Those of you that are here because of me, you will know how to get in contact with me for me to give you a referral link should you be compelled to align. All right, so let's go to work here. So tonight with MyNyloxin, we're going to talk about the star of the show, which is the product, Nyloxin. Then we're going to talk about the 10-year company that's behind the star. It's going to be very important for us to know that this, while the marketing side is new, and while most of us have never heard of MyNyloxin, so it's new to us, the product and then the company behind the product are not new. And I will tell you that was really big for me to know that the parent company is a 12-year-old company and is publicly traded. Very, very, very important. Now, the marketing company is MyNyloxin, and we're going to talk about the game plan that MyNyloxin has to get this life-changing product into the hands of millions of, note this word, retail consumers, retail customers. Very important, particularly given one part of the compensation structure that MyNyloxin has. It's very important that the product is the feature, one, and that the product gets into the hands of a ton of retail customers that have nothing at all to do with the income opportunity. We're going to talk about the MyNyloxin media division, which is really, really huge and is only going to get bigger and bigger. And then ultimately, what's in it for you, James? What does this mean, Jeanette, for you? Okay, now I want to start by, and again, this is a combination. You know, my approach is a little bit different. So I'm not the rah-rah guy. I want to give you meat and substance as you're making a prudent choice to put MyNyloxin further under the microscope or to align with them or what have you, okay? From 1994, when I first got in this industry, to 1999, I had no success, okay? I made some checks, I made some money, but no real success. Now, since 2000, since really about 2003, so in the last 11 years, we've been able to now generate 5 seven-figure incomes, 7-figure businesses, not 5 7-figure incomes, 5 7-figure businesses. And it all started to change for me when my multimillionaire mentor taught me these 3 principles. He says, T. Lamont, this was his exact words. He said, if you want to get rich, and this guy was not a network marketer, not a home business entrepreneur, not an internet marketer. He was a traditional business owner that was also an avid real estate and stock market investor. He said, if you want to get rich, T. Lamont, he said, identify a problem that plagues the masses. Identify a problem that plagues the masses, step 1. Step 2, he said, then go to work to find a solution to this problem that plagues the masses. Coach Rob, he said, find a solution to this problem. Once you've identified a problem that many people are dealing with, a lot of people are dealing with, and preferably not just within the network marketing, make money online universe. All right, people that have nothing to do with the make money online universe. Is there a problem that they are dealing with? 1, 2, can we find a solution to that problem that plagues the masses? 3, he says, if you will then find that solution and then begin to share that solution to that problem that plagues the masses, his words, he says, T. Lamont, you will get rich. And this was coming from a guy who's rich, okay? All right, so let's go to work based on these 3 principles. The rest of our webinar is based on these 3 principles. So let's look at a problem that plagues the masses. Let's look at a problem, Christian, that plagues the masses. Oh, gosh, pain, pain. Oh, gosh, oh, my, ooh, my back, gosh. Pain, pain. And for somebody, it's the back. For somebody, it's the shoulder. For somebody, it's the calf. For somebody, it's the lower back. For somebody, it's the elbow. For somebody, it's the back of the neck. Pain. Identify a problem that plagues the masses. It's not just people in the make money online universe. It's not just people in network marketing. It's not just people in direct selling. It's not just affiliate marketers that deal with pain. This is a major problem, so major that on February the 2nd, 2014, this came out in USA Today. They said, though chronic pain is often hidden from the USA's front pages and TV screens, listen at this, it is actually Americans' biggest health problem. Now, let me say this. I know I've got non-Americans on the webinar. I know I've got non-people that do not live in the U.S. on the webinar. You'll be happy to know that this product ships now to 150 different countries. You'll also be happy to know that you can build your business in those 150 or so countries. The only countries that would basically be knocked off of that list would be, you know, the North Koreas and the Irans and, you know, those types of countries that typically companies in this industry do not do business with, okay? Look at this. It says chronic pain is typically defined as pain lasting more than 3 to 6 months. Affects 100 million adult Americans. Now, the last numbers I saw said that there was over 300 million Americans, but I don't think it had hit 400 million yet. And so here, 100 adult Americans are dealing with some type of persistent pain that has been aching them, agonizing them, a thorn in the flesh for at least 3 to 6 months, if not more. Think about that. Is there a problem? Pain is a problem. As a matter of fact, in 2010, they said there was more than 40% of the adult population was dealing with some form of chronic pain. And it says this: it is the leading reason people go to doctors. Now, I've got to stop here. In the little town, in the little corner of the world that I live, in our little town, there was a little virus that was going around. And unfortunately, I got it. Okay, now some people were down for a week. I know of a couple, they were down for about 2 weeks, and they still are having some challenges. A little virus. And I got it on a Wednesday morning 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago tomorrow, as a matter of fact, or 3 weeks ago maybe. I wake up, and I'm 43 years young, but I felt like I was 83. I was sore all over. I could barely walk. I don't know where this thing came from. It's a virus, but I got it, okay? Now, I'm not a doctor dude. And yeah, I know I should go for my annual checkups. Okay, find me. I haven't been doing it, okay? But guess what? I was in pain. I was in pain to the point that I went to the doctor. Why? Because I was in pain. Now, I will tell you that if my wife had told me that I was going to have to get a shot in the derriere, I probably would not have gone. She didn't tell me I was going to get a shot in the derriere, but I did get a shot in the derriere, as she laughed, and that was not funny. But I probably wouldn't have gone if she had told me that. But why did I go? Because I was in what? Say it with me. Pain. I was in pain. Thank goodness, a couple days later, we were back. All right? But for a couple of days there, boy, I felt like I was 80-something. Look at this. The nation, the U.S., spends upwards of $635 billion a year for pain. And this is more than cancer. This is more than heart disease. This is more than diabetes combined. When I read that, that blew me away. Pain, pain, pain. So my multimillionaire mentor said, listen, T. Lamont, you want to get rich? You want to make some money? You want to impact your bottom line? You want to change the financial landscape for you and your family and for people that you love? He said, find a problem that plagues the masses. Ladies and gentlemen, I would submit to you that when 40% of any country's population is dealing with the same issue, that is a problem that plagues the masses. And we're not even talking about children that might be in pain or teenagers that might be in pain. All right, we're just talking about the adult Americans, 40%, that are in chronic pain. The second thing my multimillionaire mentor taught me, he said, find a solution to that problem. Find a solution to that problem. It's one thing to read that. It's one thing to say there is a problem. Now let's go and find a solution. And ladies and gentlemen, that solution I submit to you this evening is called Nyloxin. And I want you to note here that this is not, again, a new product. It's new to you and me. This is not a new product. Jeff, can't pronounce Jeff's last name, is also a feature in some of the commercials run by MyNyloxin's media division. But Jeff is the first person to ever climb Mount Everest, to ever reach the Mount Everest peak, I should say, who had been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. He used and uses Nyloxin for his pain. So here's a gentleman diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. He reaches the peak of Everest with rheumatoid arthritis, and what did he use for his pain relief? Nyloxin, and you'll see this on May 14th, 2011. So let's talk about the company behind the product. The company behind the product is a 12-year-old company called NutraPharma. NutraPharma Corporation operates as a biotechnology company. It specializes in the acquisition, licensing, and commercialization of pharmaceutical products and technologies for the management of neurological, you know, the N-word, that N-word, I'm sorry, disorders, I can't say it, cancer, autoimmune, and infectious diseases. Now, again, this was important for me, particularly because MyNyloxin is employing a model, a compensation model that some might even say is a little controversial. Some might even say it's a lot controversial. So it was important to see that MyNyloxin, while it is a new marketing division, it is owned by something older and bigger and something that has a lot more at stake. The fact that MyNyloxin and that the product Nyloxin is produced by a publicly traded company. No, it's not Google stock. No, it's not Apple stock. No, it's not Walmart stock. But there are certain things that they have to comply with the SEC and what have you, that I have not seen any other company that has attempted to have a compensation model, at least a portion of its compensation model that we'll discover and talk about a little bit later on. I haven't seen that ever backed by a publicly traded company. That was important to me. That was important. Let's talk about Rik Deitsch, who is the CEO and of NutraPharma Corporation. He's got over 25 years experience in biotechnology, and all you need to do is watch one YouTube video of his, and you know this guy knows his stuff. He's in research and development. What's also interesting, since most of you that are on here are either a part of or at least have been a part of the home business industry in times past, is that Rik has developed products for some big companies in the work-at-home space, in the direct selling industry. And he's even had some of his top-selling products do over $100 million a year in annual sales. And that's without the media division that we're going to talk about, okay? All right, so he formulated a product some years ago called Cobroxin. That product is now under the brand of Nyloxin. Nyloxin is a more potent form of Cobroxin. Rik is brilliant. He, along with NutraPharma, have over 21 different patents. Currently have a pipeline of drugs for multiple sclerosis, HIV, and rheumatoid arthritis. And to be quite frank with you, and I was very impressed as I was doing my due diligence, the reason there is this marketing division for Nyloxin is to get Nyloxin into the hands of millions of retail consumers, build brand awareness, generate huge revenues for the company so that NutraPharma can then go through all of the testing and all the FDA stuff for their other drugs. Now, whether or not any of these other products will ever hit MyNyloxin for us to market, I don't know. But I do know this: 100 million adult Americans dealing with chronic pain is a huge marketplace all on its own, not to mention all the other countries that have people dealing with chronic pain. Let's talk a little more about Nyloxin. Okay, so Nyloxin is an all-natural product. The active ingredient is cobra venom. And you'll get a kick out of this when you see an email that my mom sent me. And a lot of people will say, "Ooh, cobra venom." Well, there's no debate that there's a physiological response when a cobra strikes, when a cobra bites something, whether that cobra bit a rat or bit a person. There's a physiological response. So obviously this product does not have the full potency of cobra venom. It's diluted some 10,000 times. Nyloxin originally was going to be a prescription drug. So they did the human clinical trials, 46 of those. They did the pre-trials, 23 of those, okay, have been done on the active ingredient. But in the process of going through all of the hoops and the hurdles and the boundaries that the FDA puts in front of you to have a drug approved as a drug, the FDA actually came back to Nutripharma and said, you don't have to go through all of that if you register this as a homeopathic drug. So it's not a prescription drug. It is an over-the-counter homeopathic drug that is safe to be used by all. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've been in this industry now 20 years. This is my 20th year in the network marketing, MLM, relationship marketing, whatever you want to call it, industry. And I don't know of any other company or any other product in our industry. I certainly don't know at all, so it could be some product out there. But I don't know of any other product in the home business, direct selling, network marketing, multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it, industry that's registered as a homeopathic drug. And the reason that is important is that being registered as a homeopathic drug allows MyNyloxin and those of us that choose to promote it to actually legally make some health claims, like it produces effective long-term relief for chronic pain such as arthritis, back pain, migraines, neuralgia, pain from repetitive stresses, and more. The reason that's important is many of you, like myself, have promoted wellness products either now or in the past. I was once a part owner of a network marketing company that had a wellness line, phenomenal wellness line. But we couldn't say, hey, if you take our company's sulfur, that's going to help you with your arthritis pain. We would say, hey, sulfur will help you with your bone and joint wellness. We couldn't say arthritis. We couldn't say that if you took this wellness product or that wellness product, it was going to help with your high blood pressure or this or that, because those were not registered as any type of drug, homeopathic or prescription. They were wellness products, they were dietary supplements, but there are claims you can't make with dietary supplements. Now, for those of you that are marketers, I want you to get that. I want you to get that. The fact that you and I can actually say, hey, you have arthritis, this product helps relieve chronic pain due to arthritis, or due to back pain, or due to migraines. Okay, this is another big one for those of us that are marketers. The product formulation is under a patent protection for another 17 years. For those of you that have ever seen the TV show Shark Tank, this is where people have inventions and they're looking for funding, and more importantly, they're looking for mentoring. So they come into this Shark Tank with these folks that are they're worth hundreds of millions, maybe even billions. And there's one guy there, they refer to him as Mr. Wonderful. And one of the things that he often says when someone presents their product, he says, well, what's proprietary about your product? And a lot of times he won't invest in that person's product because it's not proprietary, because any other company or any other person can come and knock it off. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is not the case with Nyloxin. It can't just be knocked off. It's under a 17-year patent protection, okay? Now, the product itself is anti-inflammatory. Inflammation is a large reason that people suffer with pain. So this is anti-inflammatory. Will help to knock down the inflammation. Again, something we normally wouldn't be able to say about a dietary supplement, a wellness product, or juice drink, even though that juice drink may have some health benefits, but we can say that about Nyloxin. It's non-addictive. People don't wake up and say, I want to become addicted to pain medication. What happens is they need the pain medication to relieve the pain, and then they get addicted because maybe it's narcotic. Non-addictive, no acetaminophen. Go to your medical cabinet. Pull out your Advil and your Tylenol and your Motrin and whatever other over-the-counter pain relievers you have there. read the instructions, read the warnings. What are they warning you against as it relates to long-term use? What could that cause if you have long-term use? And as I was listening to Rik Deitsch, he was talking about one of the leading causes of people that, as they get, maybe into their 70s and 80s, has to do with the acetaminophen and how that starts to eat away at stomach linings, and it causes GI bleeds and things of that nature. None of that with this product, no NSAIDs, and it is non-narcotic. And with all of that being said, it's priced well within the budget of most people. It's priced affordably, less than a dollar per day for the regular strength version of the product for a month's supply. Okay, so let's talk about the ways that you can take Nyloxin, or the ways that it can be taken. There is a regular strength and there is an extra strength. Extra strength is basically twice as strong as regular strength. You've got a roll-on and a topical gel. Okay, now the roll-on would, if you are sharing that with friends, loved ones, so on and so forth, you might want to do the topical gel if you're having to share it. But if it's just you, the roll-on would work very well for you, or work very well for a person if they're using it. For good hygiene, if you're going to have it in a medicine cabinet and other family members or loved ones might be using it, you might want to go with the topical gel. Either one of those, you apply to an area where you're feeling pain, and it's going to work best in areas where there's not a lot of fatty tissue. So maybe you're having pains around your wrists, carpal tunnel type stuff. Maybe the back of your neck, maybe your knees, maybe your ankles. And typically, most people will start to see relief in as little as 15 minutes. Now, depending on how the scale of your pain, if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, if your pain is 10, then you may not come down to 0. Your 10 might come down to a 4. So you still might feel some pain, but at least for most people, it's going to be manageable. And in some cases, it will knock out the pain altogether. There's also the extra strength roll-on or topical gel. Okay, so the topical gel is meant to apply to an area of pain that doesn't have a lot of fatty tissues, where it's going to work the best. And typically, you'll start to see relief in as little as 15 minutes. Some people will see extreme relief in as little as 15 minutes. Then you've got the oral spray. Now, some people aren't just in pain in one area. They're pain in the legs, pain in the knees, pain in the elbow, pain in the back, so on and so forth. Well, if you have, or someone has, multiple areas of pain, then they also want to consider the oral spray. The topical pain to get those areas that don't have a lot of fatty tissue, but then spraying orally, which basically is going to allow that to travel to virtually any area of the body that might be experiencing pain. Now, typically, you'll see your best results after about 5 to 7 days. After about 5 to 7 days. And if you are one that deals with chronic pain and you're taking some type of prescription drug with that pain, it's not recommended that you stop cold turkey taking those prescription drugs. Obviously, once you get the oral spray in your system and you're saying, oh, I don't need as much of the prescription drugs, check with your physician and all that good stuff. I'm certainly not a physician, and nor do I play one on webinars. So check with your physician on that. Now, what I wanted to do before I share this, my buddy on Skype, Coach Rob, shared MyNyloxin with me several weeks ago. And I was intrigued primarily of the product because of my mom. I ain't got but one, all right? I love that woman. She calls me baby boy, so this is her sending me an email. Don't you call me baby boy. She's the only one that can get away with it, okay? So when I heard about the product, and yes, I looked at the compensation, but the first thing, before I was going to promote this, before I was going to do a webinar, before I was going to send out an email, before I was going to talk to anybody about it, I wanted to see, can my mom get relief? that doggone Arthur has been knocking on her door. Now, she's not going to say that. She's a proud woman. But that doggone Art has been knocking at her door. And, you know, he makes me mad, okay, because I see my mom in pain. And so I wanted to get her the product. Now, what was interesting is I sent her the product, and she wasn't just thinking of herself. Now, my mom's not an entrepreneur. She's not looking to build any type of business, okay? But I want you to notice something that happened here. What my mom did is not only did she get the product, but she said, hey, I'm going to give some to Betty Manuel. Now, Betty Manuel is a lady that goes to my mom's church. My mom and my church tradition is we would typically call people brother this if it was a guy, or sister that if it was a lady. This is not a religious platform, so I'm not trying to be religious here. So when you see Sister Manuel, her name is Betty. I'll call her Miss Betty for the purposes of this example, okay? So I sent the product to my mom. My mom said, hey, I want to get some to Betty, to Miss Betty. I said, okay, not a problem. I know Miss Betty. And then I said, Ma, I'm looking at marketing this, but I'm not going to market it if the product doesn't work. So I know you're going to give me your honest assessment, so I want you to give me your honest assessment, as well as, since you're giving some to Miss Betty, give Miss Betty to give me her honest assessment as well. All right, now this is my mom talking. This is taken directly from an email that she sent me. And she sent this to me on July the 29th. She says, I tried it Saturday, the product that come in, she tried it. She said, on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain in my arm was probably a 2. So there was some pain, nothing major. She said all pain was gone in less than 10 minutes, 6 to be exact. Now keep in mind the pain threshold, the pain scale, my mom is saying on a scale of 1 to 10 that she was a 2. So, it was pain, probably more of an aggravation. It wasn't something that was going to cause her life to stop. And in less than 10 minutes, 6 to be exact, she said the pain was gone. Now, Art likes to attack my mom in her legs and knees. All right, so she says this, under my knee and down my leg, the pain was probably 9. After applying the gel, here was the topical gel, in about 22 minutes, it subsided but did not stop. Remember, this was now a pain threshold of 9 on her 1 to 10 schedule, okay? She said, so I applied more, and about 30 minutes later, no more pain. So it took a little bit longer for her to be pain-free. It took about 52 minutes, but she was at a 9 on the pain scale, according to her. And less than an hour later, or 22 minutes later, the pain subsided. 30 minutes later, as she applied a little bit more, the pain was gone. Now, according to Rik Deitsch, the longer you use the product, and you can use it long term because it's non-addictive, it doesn't have the acetaminophen, it doesn't have the NSAIDs, it doesn't have all those harmful side effects. The longer you use it, the better the results tend to be. And also, pay attention, my mom was using the topical gel. She had not yet started using the spray, because I think she had just gotten the product maybe a day or two before then, okay? All right. She then said, I haven't had any pain since then. Now, I will tell you, I have not, by way of disclaimer, I have not followed up to see if she's had any pain since she sent me this email 7 days ago. I would assume that she's probably had pain, because the product doesn't heal, it doesn't cure what's causing the pain. It addresses the pain that's being caused. Let me say that again. It's not healing, okay? It's not a cure to what causes the pain. It is addressing the pain that is there, okay? All right. And then she goes on and she starts to talk about Sister Manuel, or Miss Betty, as we'll call her tonight. Now, Miss Betty then sent my mom an email, and then my mom sent the conversation that she had with Miss Betty to me. Now, this is not the full conversation for time, but here's what Miss Betty said. Now, this is Miss Betty now talking, all right? Miss Betty is talking about the Nyloxin topical gel. She said, applied at pain site at 2:19 p.m. on July 27th on feet, ankles, lower swollen legs. She said her pain was a 10 plus. Now, Miss Betty, I love her dearly. She is just as sweet as, they don't make them like Miss Betty anymore. Miss Betty, when she's not in pain, and unfortunately she's in pain quite a bit because she's been sick all my adult life. Miss Betty is one of those, when my son was born, she handmade a blanket for him. And for the first few years, he would not go to sleep without his blanket. And then as my two sons got older, she handmade some sleeping bags for my sons, which they still have to this day with their name on it. When my daughter was born, she handmade some things for my daughter. She is just such beautiful people. In her 70s, I would imagine, been sick all of my adult life, okay? So this is what she says. My feet, my ankles, my lower swollen legs, pain 10 plus. Notice a change by 2:48. Excuse me, guys. There was no pain in that site. Excuse me. When you know someone as sweet as Miss Betty, and you know that they deal with pain all the time, to hear that they were pain-free about 30 minutes later. Wow. She goes on to say the Nyloxin does temporarily take away the pain within record time. She said 6 to 15 minutes for me. It keeps the pain away longer than pain burst. I meant to do a Google search on pain burst. I didn't get a chance to, and I forgot before the webinar. I don't know what pain burst is. I don't know if that's a prescription drug or if that's an over-the-counter. I'm not sure. And then she just asked some questions about whether or not this was cobra venom and what have you. And then she said this: I like the fact that it's safe for diabetics. So ladies and gentlemen, my multimillionaire mentor said, find a problem that plagues the masses. 2, find a solution to the problem that plagues the masses. 3, he said, share the solution to this problem that plagues the masses. Share the solution that you have found with others. But that presents another obstacle for most folks. 90% of you said, I don't have a list of 500 email subscribers. So who would you share this with? Yeah, maybe you've got some Facebook friends, maybe you can tweet it out. 90% of you, though, don't have a large following based on what you said your email list, subscriber list was. So for the average marketer, even having a life-changing product that is under a 17-year patent might not be enough. This is where, ladies and gentlemen, MyNyloxin comes into play, because most marketers are struggling to develop a list and that they can provide the solution with. So MyNyloxin has a solution to this problem with its media division. Now, most of you are familiar, at least in the U.S., you are familiar with George Foreman and the George Foreman Grill. How did the George Foreman Grill generate hundreds of millions of dollars in sales? It happened because of mass media. 30-second, 60-second, 120-second, and then ultimately commercials, and then ultimately full-scale infomercials. Or what about the Total Gym, okay, with Chuck Norris? Once again, 30-second, 60-second, 120-second, and then ultimately even infomercials. They got into the homes of millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of consumers because of mass media. And you may recognize these ladies. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Rodan and Fields. They are the brains and the formulators behind Proactiv. Proactiv. Now, Proactiv is a great the MyNyloxin story is a great parallel to the Proactiv story. Here's why. Proactiv originally was going to be a prescription-based solution, a prescription drug. They decided, instead of doing a prescription solution, doing an over-counter solution. But then they chose as their distribution channel, their distribution outlet, they chose mass media through commercials, 30-second, 60-second, 120-second, and ultimately full-scale infomercials. From 2007 to 2010, this product that no one had really heard of prior to 2007, because of repeated hammering of 30-second, 60-second, 120-second, and then full-scale infomercials. Between 2007 and 2010, this product comes from nowhere and does over $800 million in sales. Let that sink through. Because of mass media, over $800 million in retail consumable sales. There was no income opportunity for you and I to participate. This was all retail customers. I am a customer of Proactiv. Really, my wife is a customer of Proactiv. We were on auto ship for several months, for quite a while, for Proactiv. My wife still has Proactiv products. If my wife felt the need to get a product to treat blemishes and things of that nature, guess where she would probably go? Proactiv. Why? Because with the media scaling that they did, they educated the consumer about their product, which then gave the consumer the confidence to order, and in my case, for several months, over and over and over. Now, here is a company, Proactiv, or product Proactiv, that did $800 million. They're now a billion-dollar brand. $800 million in 3 years. And their market, there's about 30 million people that are in the U.S. that they identified as their market. Pain is a 100 million person market in the U.S. So the market is about 3 times larger for Nyloxin than it was for Proactiv. And think this through, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in pain, there's almost nothing you won't do to get out of it. If you are in pain, there's almost nothing you won't do. There are people now that are in pain that are turning to medical marijuana even though it's not legal in their particular state because they're in pain. They're not lawbreakers, they're in pain. And there's not much you won't do to get out of pain. So the Nyloxin and the MyNyloxin story really parallels very well with Proactiv. Now, this is where the media division comes into play. Okay, so we're going to have the referral side, the network marketing, the MLM side. I'm doing a webinar based on that side. I'll send out emails based on that side. I'll do some things with Facebook and search based on that side, the network marketing side. But what's going to get this into the hands of millions of retail consumers is going to be the commercials and the infomercials. That's already started. This isn't something that's going to happen. This isn't something that's being planned down the road. Commercials have already started in select markets. Okay. Now, what I'm going to share with you in terms of the compensation, I will not hit on every facet of the compensation. Tonight, I wanted you to see the star, Nyloxin, the product, MyNyloxin, the marketing company. I wanted you to see the star, the product, the product, the product. I'm going to share one facet of the compensation with you tonight. This is very compelling. Some of you have seen this type model before. Some of you had great experiences with this type model. Some of you might be even a little leery of this type model, which I understand, which is why I wanted to do this webinar and really do more training and not do rah-rah stuff, okay? Now, what I'm about to share is 100% optional. When you are an M.I.E., M.I.E. stands for MyNyloxin Independent Entrepreneur. When you are an M.I.E. and you've agreed to the legal proviso, whatever that means, proviso, whatever, okay. You can participate in the purchase and sales of MyNyloxin media units. Now, I want you to think this through. Essentially what this means, and I'll go on and put up the income disclaimer so you can peruse over that. Essentially what this means is this. As an M.I.E., and you can be an M.I.E. for as little as $1. $1 allows you to become an M.I.E., get into the system. You will have, if you want to maintain your M.I.E. status, a $36 per month product order. You can either sell that retail to a customer, or you can put yourself on auto ship, which is what I would suggest that you do. And that will allow you to take advantage of the media division. Now, there will be some other optional upgraded packages that you could purchase, which I will recommend if you've got the resources. And if you don't have the resources, start where you are and then, you know, scale up when you can, okay? All right, so let's go to work here. All right, so the MDRMD stands for MyNyloxin Direct Response Media Division. This division allows MIEs, all right, reps, affiliates, to purchase media units. And for every media package allows you to purchase media units for every media package we produce for a Nyloxin product. So this is what will happen. You'll be able to go into your back office, read over the agreement, authorize the agreement, then you'll be able to see what media campaigns are available. It might be a TV campaign in the Arizona area of the U.S. It might be a radio campaign. It might be a large-scale internet marketing campaign. So you can purchase participation in that campaign. Now, I want you to think about the brilliance of this. $800 million in sales from Proactiv in a 3-year period. But there was somebody fueling those advertising purchases, the airtime for TV, the airtime for radio. Well, guess who's fueling the airtime for Nyloxin? The MIEs that optionally purchase media units. And as a result, the company is going to share a portion of revenue with those that are participating in the media division. Now think about the brilliance of this. If there are $1 million worth of media units purchased, let's say in a week or a month or what have you, okay? The company takes that money, or 70% of it, and I'll show this in a diagram in a little bit, and that's what they use to go and buy the airtime. Who's buying the airtime? Who's really buying the airtime? I'm buying airtime with my unit. You're buying airtime with your unit. The company is able to go mass into the marketplace, and is there any limit to this? No, no, it can be scaled up and scaled up and scaled up and scaled up, and then they're going to share a portion of the revenues from the sales generated from the media division. So how much is a media unit? Only 50 bucks. One media unit is 50 bucks. You can buy one media unit, $50. You can buy 2 media units, $100. You could buy 100 media units, $5,000. You can buy up to 200 media units at one time. Now, what we would say to you, as what we've said in times past, raise your right hand and solemnly affirm that you will only purchase the amount of media units that's comfortable with your budget. You won't go out and borrow money. You won't put your family in harm's way. You won't take from next month's mortgage payment. You won't take from your children's college education when there's a college tuition payment due in 2 months, okay? You're only going to purchase media units with funds that you can comfortably afford to purchase those media units with. Now, when you select a media package, so you purchase media units 1, 2, you then allot them to a specific campaign. There may be multiple campaigns. You might have multiple units. You can allocate some units to, you know, campaign 1 or campaign 2, so on and so forth. Now, each campaign will have a certain percentage of points available, 100%. So you might own 5.6% of that particular campaign, and the back office will tell you what percentage of that campaign you own. Okay, or you might own 9.7% of that campaign or 19.4% of that campaign. Now, what that means is if your media units applied to that campaign equate to 19.4% of that overall campaign, when sales come in from that campaign, so here's a TV commercial, imagine a TV commercial, an 800 number, retail customer picks up the phone, calls the 800 number, orders. Now, in many cases, in some cases, their first order might be free to get the product in their hand, and maybe they just pay shipping with the hope that they'll come back and order again. Okay? In any event, let's say this person buys the product. They know nothing about the income opportunity. They're not affiliates, not looking for an income opportunity. They are in what? Say it with me. Pain. And they want to get out. Okay? So this person buys the product, maybe even gets on auto ship. There's going to be a percentage of that sale that's going to go to everyone that is participating in that particular media campaign. And based on the media units, or the percentage of media units that you own of that campaign, will determine how much of that you're going to make from that particular campaign. So obviously what this means is that when a product is sold via one of the infomercials or ad campaigns, you'll receive a commission based on the many media units you have allocated to that particular campaign. Now, what that means is, the bottom line is, you get paid not for building a list, and in time I do want you to build a list, okay? But the bottom line is you get paid for participating with a group of people who are buying airtime for these media campaigns. It's that plain, it's that simple. Now, I will tell you, I've got to be honest with you. I wrestled with, am I going to do this live webinar with my existing list? Because I know that a lot of my existing lists are following us in another enterprise, and they're building out an e-commerce business and what have you. But when I looked at, one, the product works, and then I saw the media division and how that works, you know, all you've got to do is join the company as an affiliate, maintain your M.I.E. status, go in, fill out the proviso or authorize it, and purchase media units, and you now are participating in the media campaign and can derive income from that. So for those of you that follow us in other things, my focus, the bulk of my business day is still related to those things that we've been sharing with you over the past few weeks and months. This, however, just made so much sense, especially after seeing my mom's testimony and that of Miss Betty. Okay, now, the company has a multi-million-dollar tracking system that what happens is it codes all the campaigns you're involved in. So whether or not this customer buys once, or whether or not this customer buys over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now keep this in mind. If they are in chronic pain, and all of a sudden they're taking the product that relieves or maybe even eliminates the pain, at least temporarily, are they going to want to get that product again? Yeah, they're never going to want to be without that product. You don't have to produce the infomercials or the commercials. We don't have to do that. We don't have to ship the product or even take the calls from customers. So when they call the 800 number, you're not having to field that call. I'm not having to field that call. Someone else is fielding that call. Transaction takes place. You and I get paid if we were part of that particular media campaign. All that's done for you. Just let the media campaigns do the telling and the selling, and the company's expert telemarketing division will do the closing. You make the money. You make the money. Okay. Now, simply decide how many media units you're going to want to start off with. Again, raise your right hand and solemnly affirm that you're not going to hurt your family. You're not going to go in debt. You know, purchase as many media units as your resources allow. Just don't hurt your family. Okay. There's even a part of the compensation model, I won't get into it right now, that if you do refer other M.I.Es and those other M.I.Es purchase media units, there's some commissioning there, which could be a very large part of income producing. I won't get into that. What I do want to end up with from a compensation standpoint is the fact that there is a 5-day-a-week payout based on one of two things. Either one, the purchase and sale of media units, and two, the actual sales of the product based on the media division. You could share in the revenue of the company for as little as 75 days, as much as 90 days based on your rank with the company. So let me show you this real quickly, okay? This was important. I wanted to know, where is this money coming from? And I wanted to see that, particularly over time, it wasn't just going to be another rehashed affiliates buying the product, but retail customers aren't buying the product, which we know ultimately Mr. Regulator has a big problem with. I wanted to see that the company had in place, had a game plan to get retail customers. Obviously, with the mass media division, that is the case. But I further wanted to see the breakdown of how monies were going to be allocated for a 5-day-a-week share of revenue type model. And this is how this breaks down. There are two primary areas that will drive the daily revenue, okay? 5 days a week, 5 days a week, okay? What's going to happen is media unit sales. So I purchase a media unit for 50 bucks, you purchase 10 media units, somebody else has purchased 100 media units, somebody else purchased 72 media units. From those media units, 70% of that is going to be allocated to advertising, to buy airtime, radio time, TV time, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, in time 120 seconds, in time infomercials, okay? There is a commissioning element of that, 18%. I won't get into that in the unit level tonight. And then there is the 5-day-a-week component of that, 12%, okay? Then, this is what I really wanted to see, is the company is allocating 50% of all the revenue that comes from sales from the media division. That could be from TV commercials, media division, print media, media division, radio commercials, media division, internet campaigns, media division. 50% of that is going to go into the pool for the 5-day-a-week revenue pool. That was really important. Why? Let's go back to what we said about Proactiv. And this is not to suggest that they will duplicate Proactiv's success or even exceed it. The fact that Proactiv has about 1/3 of the market share of the market that Nyloxin has, the fact that Nyloxin also has the regular MLM network marketing division where people like myself will do webinars like this and do some other promotions outside of the mass media, I could clearly see in time eclipsing those types of numbers. But let's just go with Proactiv's numbers. Are we promising that? No. In a 3-year stretch, they did about $800 million in revenue. If that happened with Nyloxin through the media division, they're already allocating, they will be allocating 50% of that, $400 million, to the 5-day-a-week pool. I want that to sink in. 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 Because for those of you that have ever been a part of a share of revenue model, particularly if you saw a share of revenue model that did not have retail customers, we saw that some of those share of revenue models then weren't there after a while, either from a regulatory standpoint or because the only people that were buying the stuff were affiliates. And that model won't last if it's just affiliates. It won't last from a regulatory standpoint. It won't last from a pure economic standpoint. This is why, to me, MyNyloxin is so compelling. Because the whole focus is what? Getting the product into the homes of millions of Americans via mass media so that we will have millions of retail customers so that the company will make a ton of money. We as affiliates can make a ton of money. And remember, the end game is for the company ultimately to make enough money where it can then take the pipeline of other products that it has in Nutrapharma and go through all the FDA hurdles and hoops. Those may not ever hit MyNyloxin from a marketing standpoint. I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever hit, but I know that this market just by itself, and then with the pet product that's coming out, those two markets alone, ladies and gentlemen, could produce $1 billion a year revenue company. So what if, I'm not saying it will, what if, I'm not saying it will, what if, I hope it will, what if the media division gets to the point where it produces $1 billion in revenue each? That means 50% of that would be going into the 5-day-a-week pool. That's what I want you to walk away with from tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, so let's start the round third. Let's start the round third. We'll answer some questions in our optional Q&A. Prayerfully, what you've heard tonight is compelling enough for you to at least want to take out $1 and become an M.I.E. MyNyloxin Independent Entrepreneur. I'm going to tell you to get back with the person that you follow in the network marketing realm, see if they have a referral link. If they don't have a referral link and you still want to follow them, tell them they need to go on and get a referral link. If they don't get a referral link, then go find somebody that you like doing business with that may be in MyNyloxin and go and get a link from them. The reason I want to make sure I make that clear is, again, I sent an email out to my general list, and in that list, or my larger list, and in that list is not just people that are in my list because of my personal referral, okay? I never want to take anybody's referrals from them. All right, so at least you should want to become an M.I.E. Dollar outlay, $36 a month commitment. You can either sell it to a customer or you can put it on auto ship for yourself. I would suggest the latter, okay? If that's all you did, you are qualified for 75 payments, 5 days a week, 75 payments from the MD-RMD pool. If you are bronze, it means that you either sold enough product or you elected to purchase a bronze package. And there's a certain amount of product that goes with that. You can choose to actually take full possession of the product, or you can actually choose to have product credits. I chose the product credits when I made my gold purchase. That way, that allows me to give out samples, if you will. And I don't even have to do it physically. I can just go in my back office and send someone a sample if I want to, okay? Bronze, at the bronze level, you're qualified for 80 payments. So in the revenue pool, in the MD-RMD pool that pays 5 days a week, you would get 5 more payments for each point. By the way, I did not say this. When you purchase a $50 unit and then you allocate that unit, that gives you 50 points for the purposes of sharing in revenue. Silver is a $750 outlay. Obviously, you get more and more product with that, but you also earn for a longer period of time. You can sell your way there, or you can purchase the optional silver package. It's much easier to go that route. And then gold is $1,500. You get a lot of product with gold. And there's a number of facets of the revenue, of the total income model where you would definitely want to be gold. Now, if you don't have the resources to start gold, start where you are, whether that's M.I.E, bronze, silver, then ultimately you want to be gold, all right? 90 payments from the share of revenue pool. Now, I'm going to give you an example real quickly, and I've already shown you my income disclaimer, so I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like, okay? I won't cover, I blanked out some things just so I wouldn't confuse you. I'm going to focus on this section here, if you see my cursor, which is the date. We're going to start from the bottom up to the top. Going to focus on this here where it says total system points. One of the things that MyNyloxin does is they want to be fully transparent to its members, that this is not some scheme, if you know what I mean, all right, with the P in front of it. They want you to be able to see not just your points, but the points of the overall company, and they even show the amount of revenue that was added to the pool that day. I mean, it's a remarkable, all of the data that they share with you, okay? All right, so what I'm really gonna pay attention to is the date. I'm gonna pay attention to where it says your points, and then I'm gonna pay attention to where it says profit share paid, okay? All right, so on June the 30th, this particular position had 3,000 points. Now what happened here is this particular person had the wherewithal to purchase 60 units, $50 a piece. That was a $3,000 purchase. Now when you purchase your units, all right, you have to allocate your units. That's when those turn into points. You can't come back to the company and say, hey, I want my $3,000 back. This is not a bank account. You're purchasing media units for the purposes of helping to facilitate the TV commercials and infomercials and things of that nature. And what you're rewarded with once you allocate those units are points. And this is how you're going to start earning on a daily basis, 5 days a week, okay? So you can see here that this person's share of revenue for that day was $36. Now what MyNyloxin does is MyNyloxin will have a cap, the most that you can earn any given day, and it also has a targeted amount that it wants to pay out that day. And the beautiful part is you'll know where the company stands in terms of revenue for that day that it's sharing relative to points. All of that will be clearly defined, okay? So you're going to see some nice, steady, and consistent payouts, all right? Again, because they want to target a minimum, and then there will be a cap, the maximum that will be paid any given day. So if all of a sudden there were days where there were huge revenues, even well above the cap, then what that means is they've got extra cushion for those days when maybe revenue wasn't as high. They're able to target that minimum, okay? All right, so you'll see here on this day, $36. And so what happened here is from June 30th and July the 1st, they accumulated in revenue $72. Remember, to purchase a unit as 50, what they decided to do is that from the $72, they decided to purchase another unit. So you'll see on July the 2nd, they have 3,050 points. Why? Because they purchased another unit for $50. They allocated that unit to a campaign, and when they allocated that unit to a campaign, they got 50 points. So the next night, they earned a little bit more. They earned a little bit more. Now, this person happens to be gold, and so since they're gold, they're going to earn 90 days on that initial 3,000 points. And then on this additional 50 points here, they're going to earn 90 days on that. And then you can see the next day they added another unit to make 3,100 points. All right, they're going to earn 90 days on the new points. All right, and so you can see here they're growing their point balance right now. At some point, they'll probably say, okay, I've got my point balance where I want it. Now let me start putting money in my pocket based on the revenues that I'm making. And I won't talk about that tonight, but I'll share with you a strategy that, that we've taught our audience that participated in share of revenue type of compensation models. When I took a screenshot of this M.I.E. had been paid 19 days from the original points that they scored on July the 30th, on June the 30th. I say score because it's points. Because they're gold, they have 71 payments left as of when I took this particular screenshot, okay? I'll share one other one real quickly, and we'll start rounding third. Now, this person has a different strategy. The previous person, what they're doing is that once their revenue, once they get their revenue, they're letting it sit in their revenue pot until they have enough to buy another unit, and then they're purchasing another unit. They're wanting to grow their point total. This particular person here looks like what they're doing with their revenue is they're saying, hey, send me the money, all right? And that's totally up to you because it is your money. But just be mindful that your points will have a life cycle. They either earn for 75 days, or 80 days or 85 days or 90 days based on your rank. So this person had more points, 9,650, generating about $115.80. Again, MyNyloxin likes to keep that steady, so it has a targeted minimum and it has a cap, okay, on any given day. So this will be steady and consistent, but you'll be able to see in your back office, hey, this is no funny stuff. There was real revenue that came in today, and that's what allowed them to pay that day's award for each point, okay? By the way, here was the cap. You know, so they're even telling you, here's the most you could have made, $144.75, but that's not what you made today. You didn't make the cap. You made $115.80. Again, I don't know this person's situation. I don't know if they are building a team. I don't know if they just had the wherewithal to buy, you know, a number of units to get up to that point total fairly quickly. Just make sure that you don't put your family in harm's way when you're deciding how many media units you want to purchase. I'll show you this again and we'll start rounding third. M.I.E. outlay $1. $36 a month commitment. That can be you're selling a retail product that generates $36, or you buy or put yourself on auto ship. If you did the minimum, then if any media units you purchase, you earn for a period of 75 days. If you are a bronze M.I.E., so you either sold your way there, but it's much easier just to buy the bronze package if you have the wherewithal, $300. You get real product, or you can get the product credits. You get 80 days worth of share of revenue per point. Each point would have 80. Silver, 85. Gold is ultimate. Whether you can start there or not, this is ultimately where you want to be. You want to go for the gold, 90. There's some other commissions that I won't get into tonight because of time, where you'll really see why you definitely want to be gold, whether you start there or ultimately scale your way to gold. All right, so let me just share with you the minimum. I'll share with you the maximum, and then you find where you are in between, okay? Your minimum requirements: register. You get back to the person who referred you, get their link, register as an M.I.E. for just $1, okay? Monthly $36 order requirement. Either you sell that, you know, to a retail customer, maybe a loved one that you know that's dealing with some pain, or you put yourself on auto ship. I would have you to do the latter so that you're product to the product. Maybe you're not in chronic pain. Well, I would keep some in my medicine cabinet just in case there was a toothache, or just in case there was, you know, a flare-up of something. And then going forward, you know, if I didn't really need it because I'm not in chronic pain, then, you know, I'd give that to someone who was in chronic pain, okay? All right. Then you can purchase as many media units as your resources comfortably allow. I will say, if you're going to purchase a large amount of media units, if you're going to purchase 50, you're going to purchase 60, 100 media units times 50, then definitely you shouldn't be at the minimum requirements. You're just hurting yourself financially. If you're going to purchase a large amount of media units, make sure that you are as close to gold, if not gold, okay? All right, and remember, with the minimum participation, your points would earn for 75 days. What I love about this is that this allows a person who's either very skeptical or just wanting to do more due diligence before they make any type of large-scale purchase of media units or even a package. It allows them to do that, but still be able, if they want to get a referral link and refer to others to start building his team, still allows them to do that, okay? And for the person that sees it, but they just don't have a lot of resources, it allows them to still get position, still participate in the media campaigns until such time that they can scale up even more to maximize the compensation. Now, how do I max out the comp plan? And I think this is maybe our last one. Register as an M.I.E. through my referrer's link for just $1, all right? Optionally purchase a gold package, all right? Optionally purchase a gold package, $1,500 outlay there. optionally participate in the fast track matrix. Now, I haven't talked about this. Let me tell you, this is what I did, all right? I'm studying the company, and you know, I didn't want to make a $1,500 purchase until someone that I knew that was in chronic pain, because this was all new to me. Now, in time, some people, they'll hear enough and they'll just purchase the $1,500 because they've got the resources. I wasn't willing to do the $1,500 until such time that someone that I knew that was in chronic pain was able to tell me whether or not the product worked. So I did the optional fast track matrix. It's $99 a month. You also get product or product credits. I elected the product credits, and with the product credits, I sent my mom samples. And then she reported back to me, it works. Once I got that, then I said, okay, I'm going for the gold. So I already knew I was going to go for the gold if the product worked. If the product didn't work, then I didn't, you know, my worst case was going to be that $99 if the product didn't work. That was going to be my worst case, and I was willing to take that limited risk, okay? Now, they just made a change to the matrix, and so I forgot to change this. This should be 3. There is a matrix, it's a 4x4 matrix. When it fills completely, it could be $3,000 or more per month, and you can have multiple matrices. That could be a huge residual income, okay? You still would have your monthly $36 order requirement on top of the $99, and I would just do auto ship on that as well, and then purchase as many media units as your resources allow. So the difference here is to max out, you went gold. To max out, you also did the fast track matrix, which is a $99 outlay, but it gives you product that you can use yourself, or you can use to retail, or you can use to use as samples, okay? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave this chart up. I am going to give away some product. I purchased a gold package. I could have elected to have all the products sent, or I could have elected to do product credits. I elected to do product credits. So I think I said in my email that about 10 people. I need to change that because I want to make sure that if I want to give first right to anybody that is dealing with chronic pain. And I want to make sure you get the best use of the product. So what I want to do is I want to give 5 people that are dealing with chronic pain. You are dealing with chronic pain. I want to get a sample out to you. I want to get you the extra strength sample, both either the roll-on or the gel. You'll tell me the topical gel, or you want the roll-on, and the spray. Okay, I want you to have both the topical solution, it comes in the roll-on and a gel, and the spray. Okay, now how are we going to do this? All right, this is what I'm going to ask of you. Give me just a moment here. This is what I'm going to ask. And then we'll get into questions and answers, okay? Please only respond if you are dealing with chronic pain and it really does bother you. I mean, if it's just a little nag and you don't even think about it, please do this for someone. Please don't respond. This is for someone that's dealing with pain and it nags you and it maybe is causing some real issues, okay? All right, here's what I'm going to want from you, okay? I'm going to give you an email. I'll give that email in just a moment. All right, so I'm going to give you an email to email me. All right, so you're going to want to do this quick because I'm going to take the first 5. I'm going to take the first 5. But this is what I need you to do, okay? When you email me, I'll give you that email in just a moment, okay? I'm going to email you back, but this is what I need you to do for me. All right, you'll need to cover the shipping. The shipping won't be that much, all right? The shipping won't be that much. I will send you the product. You'll cover the shipping. I will let you know what the shipping is based on the address that you give me. All right, as I go into the back office to send that out to you, I'll let you know what the shipping is. And I'm going to want you to cover that shipping. The easiest way for me is going to be through PayPal. Okay? So when I give you the email address, You're going to email me your name and your mailing address. All right. I'm then going to let you know how much that shipping is going to be based on the mailing address you've provided. And then you're just going to remit that amount via PayPal. Once I have that, then I will go on and send out the product. Again, this is going to be for 5 folks. And this is what I want from you. Okay. This is the one thing I want from you. I want your honest testimony. My preference would be video, if you know how to do video. Some of you don't, some of you don't. If you don't do video, or if you don't have video, then my second preference, so I'm going to put it in this order: video, Facebook, and as a last one, if you don't have video or you don't use Facebook, email. I want it honest. If you take the product and you use the product and the product does not work for you, I want to know that. If you take the product and you use the product and your pain went from a 10 down to, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, it went from a 10 down to a 6, I want to know that. I want your honest testimony, and in that honest testimony, please note the time that you took the product and when you begin to see relief. Okay? All right, so the only people that should be emailing me are the ones that have chronic pain. You're willing to cover the shipping. You're willing to give me your honest feedback, preferably with video. If not video, Facebook. If not Facebook, email. Good or bad or indifferent, I want to hear from you, okay? All right? And when you're doing your testimony and when you get the product, I want you to note the time. If you're applying the topical solution, what time did you apply it? Even, you know, maybe what area of your body you applied it. If it's not, you know, too private. Yeah, I applied it to my wrist. I applied it to my knee. What time did I apply it? And when did you start feeling relief? You know, what was your pain like before? What was your pain when you started feeling relief? And if you did, like my mom, have complete relief where you felt no pain, you know, how long did it take you before you felt no pain? Okay? All right, so now I'm going to give you the email. The first 5 people who send this will be the winners. And if you are not, you know, we'll still see if we can do something. Maybe we can send you out. Maybe instead of both the spray and the topical, you know, maybe we can send out something. Okay, I can't promise that because I only have a limited amount of inventory based on the gold package that I purchased. Okay, all right. So that email address is MyNyloxinPro@gmail.com. MyNyloxinPro@gmail.com, and what I need you to send me, okay, in the subject, just put something like "please send product," and then when in the body, just let me know your name and your mailing address. Okay, just let me know your name and your mailing address, and also let's say best contact. You know, especially like if you're on Facebook, because I'm on Facebook quite a bit. If you're on Skype, please let me know if you're on Facebook. Let me know if you're on Skype, because I'm on Facebook and Skype quite a bit, okay? All right. Okay, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the webinar is completely, we've completed the webinar. I do plan on coming back next Tuesday to do the same type of introduction / training on MyNyloxin. I certainly can't promise that I'm going to be able to give out a product because I'm using product credits from my gold package to do this, okay? But if you want to hear it again, and this is being recorded, by the way, and or you want to, and maybe by that time you've decided to align with MyNyloxin and you've got a referral link and you want to invite some guests. Now, I won't do this every Tuesday at 9 p.m. And the reason being is that MyNyloxin has its corporate overview on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights at 9 p.m. I will more likely, if I do a live webinar, and I don't know that I will do one every week because I plan on having a nice recording that can be seen 24 hours a day. We'll just kind of see with our audience. If our audience wants a live webinar, there is some synergy with live webinars, then we may very well do something live on a weekly basis. It will probably be on a Monday, so as not to detract from the corporate webinar on Tuesday and Thursday. And then I have another webinar commitment that I have on Thursday night. So it would probably be on a Monday. Next week, because I will be doing a little traveling next Monday, I'll be back here next Tuesday. Same webinar, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, same type of format, okay? All right, so this would be the time for you to ask your questions. And again, the best way to do that, give me a moment. The best way to do that is to go over to my Facebook fan page. I'm going to go over to Facebook in just a moment. See any questions that we have there. Obviously, if you have followed me and you're looking for a referral link, you know, connect with me. You can connect with me via Facebook, or that would be the quickest way. That would be the best way, or email me or Skype me or what have you, okay? But please follow your genealogical line if you don't typically join directly with me. All right, so, and then you can also put questions in your webinar panel. So give me just a moment. I'm going to head on over to Facebook first and see if we've got some questions there. I don't purport to have all your answers. If I don't have answers, I will let you know. And then we'll do our best to get answers to you. Bear with us, please. Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Having a problem with Facebook right now. Bear with me. All right, let me try another browser.